Versatile Mage. Chapter 577. The Dark Abyss appears again. I'm glad that you're all here, but I have something unfortunate to tell you, said Councilman Zhu Meng expressionlessly. As he spoke, he walked toward the edge of the hall in his black boots, standing close to the barrier engraved with patterns of dragons and phoenixes. He paused his speech. The group could only see his fairly depressed back. A dark abyss has appeared 30 kilometers to the north. Councilman Zhu Meng finally finished. As he mentioned the dark abyss, he said it with a sigh, as if he was not willing to say the term too loudly. Dark abyss. Why would something like that appear so close to the city? Is there a mistake? Yelled one of the hunters. Heavens, only 30 kilometers away. Are we seriously going to be overrun by the undead? Yelled a middle-aged magician. Mo Fan scanned his surroundings and discovered that everyone's expressions had changed. He was clueless about what the term, dark abyss, meant since he had come from a different place. He had no choice but to ask the leader of the team, Zheng Zishan. What's a dark abyss? Why did everyone panic after hearing it? He asked quickly. Zheng Zishan recovered from his astonishment. It seemed like he was also having a hard time believing the information. Do you know what I thought the most terrifying thing in this world was? Asked Zheng Zishan instead. What? Asked Mo Fan. It was a commander-level undead that bit one of my arms off. That thing almost killed me, said Zheng Zishan, who added after his face twisted badly, but I no longer have the same thought after I saw a dark abyss. Zheng Zishan recalled his past. He remembered the scene so clearly that his eyes were filled with wisps of blood from fear. The dark abyss can be described as a burning pot of hell with its lid removed. You can clearly see the edge of hell when you stand close to the edge. Hundreds of ghosts uttering cries of hatred, thousands of zombies munching at anything that is moving, including their own kind. 10,000 demons, waving their claws waiting for fresh blood to be poured on them. I was unlucky enough to encounter the smallest dark abyss possible when I first became a hunter. My friend, whom I grew up with since childhood, fell into it. I watched him fall, watched the countless hands drag him down as the undead crawled onto him, forming a giant ball of undead. At that time, I was sure that if anyone mentioned that going to hell was the greatest curse and punishment ever, falling into a dark abyss was on a similar level. The only thought I had left back then was to pray that I wouldn't fall into it, too. Mo Fan could feel goosebumps all over his body after hearing Zheng Zishan's description. The dark abyss is the entrance to hell. Maybe it wouldn't be as terrifying if it simply remained in the same place, but it also has a shocking trait, added Mu Bai. What trait? Asked Mo Fan. Not only will it continue to expand after devouring lives, its space unpredictability is the biggest problem too, said Mu Bai. What's space unpredictability? It means you will never know where it will appear, and where it will move to in the next second. Said Zheng Zishan. How? How is that possible? Mo Fan stammered. Mo Fan understood that the dark abyss was a hole filled with countless undead, so it was reasonable for it to be capable of devouring anything nearby. However, it was unbelievable that such a hole would also drift in space elsewhere. That didn't make sense at all. When the hatred of the dark abyss reaches a certain level, the space will crumble and break down, which will allow the dark abyss to teleport elsewhere. As for how it does that, we are still totally clueless. Not many people have walked out from a dark abyss. Even a forbidden magician would die in the burning lava of hell, said a hoarse voice. The person speaking was none other than Councilman Zhu Meng, who had a worried look. The energy is strong enough to affect space. Mo Fan fell into deep thought. It was Mo Fan's first time learning about something related to space. However, since the space element existed, it was possible for something to drift in space too. Mo Fan did not expect that the land of the undead would have a dark abyss that even magic could not explain. However, in the world he came from, there were many things that science could not explain, either. If the dark abyss is unpredictable, why are we worrying, then? Is it because the dark abyss will expand 30 kilometers and devour this whole place too? Is it really that crazy? Asked Mo Fan. Expanding 30 kilometers isn't possible, otherwise, it wouldn't just be the entrance to hell, it would simply be hell on earth, but the last time the dark abyss appeared. Zheng Zishan trailed off. That's right, the last time the dark abyss appeared, it was more than 100 kilometers away from the city. Councilman Zhu Meng took over when he heard the people mention it. As a matter of fact, around half a year ago, the dark abyss also appeared in a valley around 600 kilometers away. Not many people know about it since it was so far away, and quite close to the drifting sand river. Mo Fan was startled. He immediately asked Councilman Zhu Meng about the exact time. It's the same day. Mo Fan was shocked. Around half a year ago, that was when Mo Fan was at the Burning Valley, northwest of the drifting sand river. The fire calamity had cleansed the Burning Valley back then, but at the same time, another strange phenomenon occurred, the restlessness of the drifting sand river. Everyone thought it was some side effect of the fire calamity, yet Xingxia, who was a psychic, was extremely confident that the creatures were not panicking because of the fire calamity. It turned out that the reason was because of the dark abyss. The day that the dark abyss had appeared to the west of the drifting sand river was the same day Mo Fan and the others were experiencing the strange behavior of the drifting sand river. The drifting sand river was a terrifying place, as no one knew how many white sand demons were buried under the white sand. However, Mo Fan was astounded by the fact that a small dark abyss had made the whole population of the drifting sand river, which covered over half a province, restless. So the second time it appeared, prodded Mo Fan. That was 3 months ago, around the Xianqi area, and my students just happened to be there. Spoke up a soldier wearing a black cape coming down the stairs, looking at Mo Fan. You are. Mo Fan was confused when he saw the man looking at him. He's the chief military instructor of the ancient capital military. You seriously don't know any of them? Asked Jiang Li, saluting Fei Zhao. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.